Welcome back, Discos. If you caught last week's Discover Ag on the road, you saw us out in the fields exploring the wild world of finger limes. But one episode can only tell part of the story. So today we are taking you beyond the road because discovery doesn't just stop in the field, it just starts the conversation. And before we dive into all of the details and all of the conversation around finger limes, we want to kick things off with Matt with a little rapid fire question round. So 3 quick questions to get to know the crop of finger limes a little better. So Matt, all right, you ready for these?
Yes, ma'am.
If you could share one fact about finger limes at a dinner party, what would it be?
My favorite fact is that it has a very unique organic compound that most things do not have called saponine, and they are using that for cancer research right now. So that's pretty exciting.
I like how that's just right out of the gates, like
Science.
chemistry.
Let's go.
Yes, science. I'm very scientific.
Okay, what is your favorite way to enjoy finger limes?
Mine's it's not something you'd expect. I think I mentioned this before, but I really like finger limes on watermelon. It's really good.
I know, I want to try it. I'm like committed to that. I put that in my list of like, that's what I want to try. Okay, last question. If you could enjoy, have anyone in the world enjoy finger limes, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Yes.
Dead or alive?
Jesus
I was
Christ.
gonna say Jesus.
I was like, is he going to say George Washington? Like, I'm not
I
sure.
need some finger limes. In the name of the Lord.
He's like, if I could actually go back and have the
Name of the
Bible
Father, the
talk
Son,
about
yeah.
finger limes, that sounds like a great marketing strategy.
Yeah, I think they're in there somewhere mentioned.
That's so funny.
Great choice.
No, I love it. All right, well, on a more serious note, I actually wrapped up our episode with you, our Discover on the Road episode with you, talking about my appreciation for leaving the groves with just a newfound understanding of the innovation and uniqueness of this crop. And so that's where I want to kick this conversation off with a little bit of the origin story, what makes it so unique, and then also how you guys have had to be so innovative harvesting and growing this crop.
Yeah, origin as far as just where they
Yeah.
started.
He's like the Bible. I thought we covered that.
Yeah, way back. I think it's in Genesis now. They grow wild. A lot of people ask us, are these like some kind of genetically modified or crossbreed or any of that? But no, they grow wild in Australia. And actually, the bush people used to use them for antiseptic and for nutrition and all that. I did read some stuff about how they thought they were like a pest at some point. So they were like the government, I think, in Australia was just trying to get rid of them, get rid of finger lime trees. And then they got brought over to the U.S. originally for just kind of like a new crop. There was a thing that my sister-in-law's father went to that was just showing off like new exciting things, and they had a couple trees or a couple plants, and then he tried it and was mind blown. He was a chef, kind of home chef, foodie type guy, and he's like, these are incredible. Why does nobody know what this is? And why aren't they everywhere? So he originally, just thought they were so unique that he doubled down on it and planted a ton of them. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but we're trying to carry on his idea and legacy with that.
Yeah, it makes so much sense now that you shared his history of being a chef, because I do feel like, as we talked a little bit about in the episode, a struggle, again, with the innovation is getting regular consumers to understand finger limes. But I feel like the people that caught on really quickly and saw the potential was the chef. So it makes so much sense that he kind of immediately recognized, oh, there's like a lot of potential behind this crop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like a off-the-wall thing you could use in like one dish. I mean, you can literally put it on almost anything you use lemon or lime for. So it's very universal.
Yeah, while it is still like a novelty crop, I'm curious if you've had a moment though that you're like, wow, this could work, like a breakthrough, that you're like, this could be mass produced, that people look for finger limes in the grocery store.
Yeah, I think we're just getting to that point. We're hoping. My sister-in-law has been working really hard at this for nearly 12 years. And I think, she's been really discouraged over the years because, like you're saying, product knowledge is just not there. So you really have to teach every single person you come across what it is and how to use it. But with all that hard work and all these different press outlets we've done, and we've tried every single avenue, it finally feels like people are catching on to what they are and how you can use them.
Okay, I want to switch and talk a little bit about the crop itself, because if you watch the episode, it is very, very unique, not only in, I guess, like the visual experience of it, but also in the taste. So I want to start off actually pretty broad scope before we narrow down on it itself. And I just want you to talk about, because I think when you hear finger lime and then see it, it is very, very different than a traditional lime. So I just want to talk about kind of how it's grown in comparison to traditional citrus that people would think of, what makes it different, like just kind of compare it to being a farmer of other citrus crops.
Yeah, well, we do grow lemons and oranges at our other property and all that, so we're familiar with growing that stuff. And that's been grown for a long time. There's a ton of people that do it. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of equipment, and you name it. Where you have your typical rows, and you have all these pruning machines now, and all kinds of stuff.
Because is it again? I'm
Not
like,
here. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of our episode and the tree and how they grew. Is that how a lime tree? I mean, I don't know.
You've never seen a lime tree?
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, that would be like your typical
They're like
orchard
a bigger,
with
yeah, like an
rows.
apple tree. Yeah.
Yeah,
So again,
exactly.
it's just very, very different than a lime.
Yeah. So this is short, really bushy,
Really thorny.
very thorny. Here we have a lot of elevation, so it's a lot of steep hillsides. They are planted in rows, but it's not like any type of row, obviously, that you saw that you could run equipment through or any of that. So
Yeah, we experienced
pretty-
that firsthand.
pretty
Yeah, I felt
tricky.
like I was gonna like roll down the hill at least 5 times while we were
Yeah.
recording.
Our other property, we grow finger limes there as well, and that's we've tried to get it on a little more of just like it's not flat, but more of a flat road.
Is it
crop.
taking?
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
very well over there. The Central Valley just grows citrus so well. What's the neat thing about that is their seasons are a little bit different. So we'll typically get our crop over there like 2 to 3 months sooner than here, but this will go longer into the year. So everything's already done over there for the most part, but we'll go an extra couple months here. So it extends our season way out by having 2 different properties and 2 climates.
Yeah, well, it's so crazy too because you were telling us in the episode about how you pick them all the time. Like there's not just a one single time where you go to the tree and like harvest everything on it. Like it's
Yeah.
a constant.
Yeah, they're constantly fruiting.
Yes. Fruiting. That's what I was looking for. One of the really crazy things that you talked about right off the bat was like the effervescence. And it's so crazy when you take the finger lime. I mean, it looks like a long finger and you snap it in half. You can see like, I don't know, what would that be? Like a mist almost. And you can smell it. Before it even breaks open, you can already smell it. And you can feel the oil like on the skin. And then obviously when it pops open, you have like what we call, the citrus caviar that comes out.
Yeah, most citrus has, or most all of it has, high oil content in the skin, and so you get that fragrant.
Obviously. I'm like,
Obviously.
oh,
I know. I was like, I literally had not.
Well,
Like, why don't we have orange avocado oil? Like you're like, whatever.
Well, you'll see like orange extracts or
Oh,
lemon
yeah.
extract,
Okay,
like from the
okay.
skin for different uses or for scents on a lot of things, which these have as well. But it's a much different, more floral, sweet, perfumey kind of smell. And so we've actually had companies reach out to us to use it for like potential for like perfumes, and it just has a really unique,
Yeah.
really fresh feeling or
Which is
smelling scent.
so fun. We've covered on the podcast a couple different times now. Plum is there was a plum family that was leaning into like luxury plum skincare, and it's fun to see. I mean, we even talked about it in one of our keynote speeches that there is it's a fun time to be in agriculture because there's an opportunity for like premium products or marketing your products in a different way than we are traditionally. And so just again thinking about what we open this with, like the space of innovation that lies before us in agriculture, it's so fun that people like you guys are really leaning into different crops. I mean, you guys also have like dragon fruit here. You like were experimenting with coffee. Like you guys are a little bit different than your traditional farm.
It's like, just say it. Yes, super crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it has a lot of challenges too. Obviously, if you just had 200 acres of oranges, it'd be a lot more straightforward. Still challenging, obviously, but we have so many different things going on here, and we're kind of pioneering it. So it's the downside of that is when something's going wrong, there's no one to really call. So we're just trial and error and ripping stuff out and replanting and like just trying some kind of fertilizer this time and it works out, and next time it doesn't, or it's like you're making your way. So
You also have multiple varieties. So I found like some were definitely more green, some were like a little bit of like a blush pink, and then some were very, very pink, almost like a red. What are the different colors of the finger lime? Does it? I felt like I liked the pink ones taste a little better than the green ones. Like it was a little, I don't know, a little sweeter, not as maybe like tart as the green ones. Is there anything behind that of like different varieties?
Yeah, there's a few different varieties we have going, but you'll get variation even within that. So it's not like we have one variety that's all green, one variety that's all red. There's even within that, you'll have like on the same tree a green one and like a pinkish one. We do have some newer ones coming out that'll pretty much be primarily like that sweeter, like you said, the pink and red are a little sweeter.
Well, we've been lucky enough to receive your care package, so we had a little bit of exposure to finger limes before. But I went from like very minimal exposure to eating finger limes all day yesterday. We were like cracking them open, and like we were supposed to be doing a promo shot. We were just like eating them.
Well, my nephew, his dentist was like, "What's going on with your kid?" Because he's like all the enamels.
Oh.
I mean, he would literally walk around all day chewing on them,
Chewing
like
on 'em.
probably eating like 100 a day.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's
I think
acidic.
they've been called citrus caviar, but I read somewhere that maybe like nature's pop rocks even, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that makes so much sense when you try them too because they just
Oh,
burst. I could see how a kid would
be
just
like
Yeah,
very
love
obsessed
it.
with them.
We've gotten into a lot of the school districts, and we're lucky that a lot of the public schools are really trying to get kids excited about healthy food. And so they've loved the finger limes because the kids go crazy over it.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to get them excited about healthier eating.
Are they incorporating it into the cooking, or like they letting the kid? Like I just see kids having it and breaking it open. And
Yeah,
just even
mostly
seeing-
they're like cutting them in half for them and passing them out. Just they do like a harvest of the month program or like certain things like that, and they're just passing them out or like putting them on like on their plate with whatever else they're getting. I think they've used it for toppings too, but mostly just the funnest way to have it is just cracking it like that and getting the whole experience.
Okay. So one thing we didn't talk too much about on the episode is almost like the life cycle, like the start to finish of like how old those trees are or the bush, I guess. Like when you plant them, how long before harvest? And I'm always curious about that because I think in our mind sometimes we just immediately assume that it's like, oh, you plant something and then you harvest it and grow it. And there are vineyards that take like, X amount of years. Like sometimes it's mind blowing to hear the number behind how long it takes to plant, how long it takes to harvest. And so can you walk us through a little bit of that with like finger limes?
Yeah, it's tricky, and we're dealing with that right now at our other property. We had lemon trees that were really old that need to be removed, and then we're planting, and you're pretty much minimum 3 years to get any produce off citrus. Same with finger limes, but realistically, you're more like 5 to really start producing, 5 to 6. But you're really having to look into the future, and like right now, we're like, what do we plant? Because what's going to be doing well in 6 years? Like, who knows? So you're really trying to take your best guess. These trees here, most of them are like 10 to 12 years old now. As you've seen, they're like really full grown, pretty big. And so I think with farming, it's just like, it's tough because you're really trying to guess and hope that things are going well 5 years from now.
It is kind of wild to think that. I mean, both of us in cattle, obviously, there's some like time there. It's not like traditional row crop where you plant it and the next season you harvest it. And I realize there's other, challenges there. But at least with like cattle, you think about 2+ years, and then milking cows, like thinking about all that. But yeah, to your point, 6 years, like that's a very long time
Yeah.
in trying to plan out what you think people are going to want or not want, varieties they're going to want. We talked about that actually with Apple Girl Kate about apples. Like what variety of apples are people going to like 6 years from now? What ones are they not going to like? And it's a huge risk because to your point here, you wait 6 years for this plant to then decide if it's going to be popular.
Yeah, it's horrible.
He's like, thanks
I hate my
for
job.
reminding me. So you grow finger limes and people love them. Let's say that. One thing we didn't get into in the episode either that I kind of want to double click on is what does your supply chain look like? Like as we have established by now, this is a novelty crop that you guys are like pioneering, but what is it like when it leaves here? Where does it go to? How do you work with those distributors? How do you help them understand what the product is?
Yeah, we've tried everything under the sun. We do anything from online direct sales. You could buy a little pack of like 4 finger limes and we'll ship it to your house, all the way up to doing multiple pallets to like huge distributors. We've been in Whole Foods. We've been in all the HEBs in Texas. We've been in these massive retailers, which that was kind of years ago, and it didn't do very well because the product knowledge wasn't there. And if you walked past those in the store and you didn't know what they were, you're probably not going to buy them. But we've done all kinds of other stuff. We've been on QVC. We've been on these huge news outlets. people get really excited about it because they are really cool and it's something new and interesting. We're on dating shows talking about them.
No, you didn't. You don't talk about that if you don't want to.
It used to be 10 years ago, nobody knew what they were at all. And now most people I ask either have heard of it, they've had them, have some idea.
We need Jesus Christ to do that social media campaign
Yeah.
where you really kick
That's
things
true.
off for
That would be good.
awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, the dating show, I had never seen a finger lime until one of the first dates. You had all the girls around and you cracked open the finger lime and all of the, citrus caviar came out, all the pearls, as you guys call them. And yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, it was really cool to see and obviously like intrigued our interest and wanted to come out here and discover them with you.
Yeah, we were excited because we work really hard here. We've been trying for years. And so to be able to go on, on that show and show off what we've been working on and do stuff with you guys, it's really fun because we just like to share it with everyone. We think this is a really special place and we're lucky to be here. And we think we have something that's really unique and fun that I think I've only come across like 2 or 3 people in my whole life that didn't like finger limes. Like almost everyone gets pretty excited about it. So
the last question is, you mentioned this briefly, but I want to talk about it a little bit more, is you guys, like how long they last after harvesting, like how long it takes to get to the grocery store. You guys are trying some new things. What are you guys doing with that as far as packaging goes?
typically we're just harvesting here ourselves with crews and whatnot. And then we'll clean and pack and all that stuff in-house. And then we'll just ship out like as fast as possible. So usually we're picking and shipping out same day or next day from when they're picked. It's lasts similar to a typical lime, but there's all kinds of factors with like moisture when we pick, if they're wet or all kinds of stuff like that. So we're doing it all ourselves and shipping it out through trucking services or just me driving to the post office or like whatever we can do.
You had mentioned that there isn't a natural wax on them right now, right? But you guys are with a processor or a plant looking at adding a wax so that it can increase the shelf stability.
Yeah, well, I mean, all like I was saying earlier, all citrus has like a oil, waxy skin,
Yep.
which protects it. But we've been looking into additional things to hopefully, extend our shelf life, or maybe extracting the pearls and putting them in jars and selling them like that would really extend things.
Every step of the way, you guys have to be like innovative and thinking outside the box. And something we talked about, I think, on our interview when we had you on the podcast months ago for that little show that you were on, Farmer Wants a Wife. But yeah, it is like everything is down to you guys kind of like figuring it out throughout this process. So it's really cool. Like, I mean, I think that's something you guys should be absolutely proud of. Like, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. And I think part of
Sometimes you wanna
it,
pull your hair out.
yeah, I'm sure. I feel like part of it though is sometimes all of us that are in ag, we can get very like tunnel vision. And I feel
Yeah.
like you have shared that you didn't grow up in ag. And so I do wonder like how that has impacted you of like thinking outside the box, coming up with like different ways, like that you weren't like, this is just how it's always been. This is the way we're going to do it.
Yeah, well, we've seen that a lot. My brother and I, like you were saying, we didn't grow up doing this kind of stuff. We, entered it in an interesting way, but I think we came in with more of like a fresh set of eyes, because farming's been done the same way for the past like almost 100 years now. And I think it's changing big time. You guys know this, but you can't just keep doing the same thing and expect the same results anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of, you're competing with all this stuff being imported from out of the country. There's all kinds of restrictions. The land value's up. The water's running out. I mean, there's millions of things. And so you got to get more creative with either what your product is or how you're selling it or how you're advertising. I think a lot of people are trying to now get on social media and sell direct, whether it's beef or produce or whatever it is. But this typical old way of just farming and selling it to a packing house is, seems like it's not doing that well anymore, in my opinion.
I feel like you talking about imports actually teases up for a little teaser of what's coming, because we have an episode on avocados, and we are going to be talking. Natalie's favorite fact for all the discos is that 9 in 10 avocados come from Mexico.
That's a good fact.
It's a great fact, but we're going to be here in California talking about avocados that are right here grown in the United States. So that is going to be a piece of that conversation of that global supply chain and what it looks like for domestic farmers to grow those products. So thanks for letting me get that tease in.
I know an avocado grower.
Yeah, maybe.
On that note, as we wrap this up, why don't you go ahead and plug where people can find out more about finger limes, where they can order, kind of direct anyone interested in how they can be better in connection with that.
You can go right to our website at shanleyfarms.com or Instagram Shanley Farms. Through that, you can find all kinds of recipes, which is really neat. There's been so many chefs that have used finger limes for really cool things, and there's all kinds of stuff on our Instagram and our website. So you can order direct through there, or what we really prefer you do is go to your grocery store and ask like the produce managers, because that's where we really want to get to, is where we can, distribute to all these grocery stores.
I always love when farmers mention that. We're friends with a distributor of alcohol. She does beer, and she talks about that all the time. The power consumers have if they go in and they ask the grocery store people, "Do you carry this? Can you carry this?" And I think I lose sight of that very often. That is a power we hold as a shopper, and so I think it's always so fun to either remind people that or make people aware that you can go into your grocery store and say like, "Hey, can you carry this? I'm interested in this brand or this product."
Yeah, that's where we want to end up eventually, is just doing distribution to like grocery chains or restaurant distributors, that kind of stuff, because we have a pretty good quantity here, and so we have a lot of stuff
you
to
put us to
sell.
work.
So
We saw the trees, we saw the amount on them, like
A lot more on the
please
tree.
buy them.
firsthand, I can attest to how many are on a tree that you need to pick.
Yeah, we want everyone to eat finger limes every day.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for not only being on the podcast, but allowing us to come out to your farm and haggle you for, multiple days with cameras. And thank you for
It's his first
teaching
time.
Natalie.
She's really
He's
camera
never
shy.
been on camera before, so it was a really
We like
big
to have
deal.
visitors. Always welcome. We're happy you're here.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yep.